Innovation in science and technology already affects just about every aspect of our daily lives. But innovation and imagination will definitely play a big part of our future. Imagine inventing cookies that lower your cholesterol. Imagine robots that learn from experience. Imagine concrete that bends but doesn't break. Visionary thinking has turned these ideas into reality. And in the next hour, we're going to take you behind the scenes and into the laboratories to show you how.
In Alberta, we're known for our pioneer spirit, entrepreneurial drive, and tenacity. We have highly educated people here who strive to break new ground and stay on the cutting edge of science and technology. Innovation comes naturally because of our unique attitude.
We have a belief in ourselves that we can accomplish great things here. We stick to it, we work hard, and we like what we're doing. I just think that attitude prevails throughout Alberta.
Government, industry leaders, and academics have formed strong partnerships here, providing critical support so that great ideas can become reality. By building the right climate for innovation, we've reversed the brain drain and become a magnet for the best and the brightest.
It's been an extremely important and successful component of the innovation agenda of Canada. And we've simply turned it into a brain gain. We're getting people back, we're attracting new people, they're working in state-of-the-art facilities, and that's where we'll provide the basis for the new economy.
Well, the foundation we've built in Alberta for innovation is very important to the young people, our children, and our children's children. We've put that in place that allows them to be successful, to be creative, and to be true innovators.
Part of the foundation for success is recognizing and honoring excellence. The Alberta Science and Technology Leadership Foundation celebrates the achievements of our innovators with the annual Aztec Awards. Here, they are honored for their incredible discoveries.
Well, the whole point of Aztec is to shine a spotlight on Alberta's science and technology heroes and champions. As you said, many times, they're toiling away in a laboratory or in an applied research setting out in industry, creating something that makes our lives easier. And it's easy to forget that science and technology is just about that. It's making our lives easier and more fulfilling.
Discoveries made here are protecting the environment, saving lives worldwide, transforming industry, fueling the economy, and securing our future prosperity.
Remember I showed you that where it's in 3D?
Here at Calgary's Foothills Hospital, patients like Brandis Thompson are getting the advantage of Alberta innovation firsthand. She's getting her body mapped by a unique pressure system that allows patients to see what they can't feel.
It's really neat because I'm able to see what side of my body it's more on and stuff.
This new diagnostic tool dramatically shows the difference in pressure continuously along a large surface. It gives real-time results that alert patients to dangerous areas that could develop pressure sores.
We can present it in 3D to our clients so that they can see this as it's happening because it's done in real time. It's captured in real time, so as we change their position for them, they can see the changes and what that creates in terms of changes in pressure, how they can relieve the pressure.
It's important for people in wheelchairs because if they don't know what the pressure distributions are, there's a possibility of them developing pressure sores. And once you have a pressure sore, it's extremely serious. There's lots of people die from pressure sores, mostly related to the complications of infection.
This pressure imaging system was developed by Accenture Technology Corporation, and there's nothing else like it. They've created the thinnest, most flexible sensor system in the entire world.
Our sensor is quite unique. It's very thin, it's very flexible, it's very compliant, it conforms very well to surfaces. So it's really just like a material or a fabric that will drape and mold to any kind of contour.
It's extremely thin, so we actually can get down to 1 millimeter in height, a little bit over 1 millimeter, and conforming to different surfaces and so on. So we can put it in many places where you wouldn't actually expect to have a sensor.
Research, design, product testing, and assembly of the technology takes place here in this Calgary facility.
And what we're ending up doing is measuring the separation between two tiny little metal plates, and we use that through a combination of some high-end electronics and some software and so on and so forth to actually do that. And so as these little plates go back and forth, we can actually measure that separation.
The technology is based on transducers that translate pressure into an electrical reading. There are about 60,000 tiny metal plates inside the sensor, so it's incredibly accurate. While the technology is valuable in the medical field, applications are unlimited. These sensors are being used just about everywhere.
We work well under pressure.
On the industrial side, there's a lot of applications in the automotive sector in terms of designing seats for comfort, for safety. A lot of research in the vehicles is making them quieter, and so we actually use a lot of our sensors in door seals so they can actually see the air pressure, something that they've never been able to do before. Tire tread is something else that we sell a lot of systems for people to improve tire designs.
We've done projects for insole pressure mapping for feet, for cow milking machines to measure the amount of pressure on the udder of a cow. We've developed products for surgical instruments that actually measure the pressure at the end of a surgical instrument for certain types of operations. Measuring pressure on spacesuit design for astronauts, ejector seats for aircraft, wherever two objects touch.
We have some customers who design and make backpacks, and one of their challenges is how do you make a backpack that's comfortable and performing when you have all sorts of different shapes and sizes of people using it. So our system, we can put our sensors on that person and they can go through that exercise and see what the person is feeling and saying, essentially create data and images out of that they can use to actually improve the product from an engineering perspective and a design perspective.
In the past, we were, very much tied to a specific location, and what we're doing in the future is allowing all our customers to move around with these sensors.
We've developed a new product line that is completely portable. It's a handheld device that can be used in any kind of environment without needing any extra equipment. So it can be taken into clinical environments, design environments, and used with complete portability.
Exensor is a small company making a big impact globally.
We export 98% of our goods. We sell to the Americans, we sell to the Europeans, to the Asians. We're really a global company in the sense that our products are going to a number of different places, solving a number of different types of problems.
Exensor Technology Corporation is an Alberta innovation success story. With the critical support of government, they've created a breakthrough with unlimited potential.
We could be anywhere in the world that we want to be, but I think that the key thing about Alberta is just the talent pool of people who are available.
It's a combination of having access to a lot of high-quality electrical engineers and designers, sensor researchers who all want to come and live in Alberta from wherever they might be. It's very easy to attract talent. We wouldn't be where we are today as a technology company if it wasn't for programs like the National Research Council and their IRAP program, who take advantage of Western Economic Diversification funds. And so it's a big part of the financial picture of growing and forming a technology company in Alberta.
That critical support helps the economy and directly helps people like Brandis.
It's nice to be a part of something like that, where you're actually knowing that what you do actually can help people live better lives or save people's lives.
Coming up on Alberta Innovation, how you'll soon be able to eat foods like ice cream and cookies that dramatically lower your cholesterol. How robots can think on their own, work together, and learn from experience. Plus, water filter technology developed here that is saving lives around the world.
Nanotechnology is about making computers smaller, faster, and better.
Something that's a nanometer in size cannot be seen with the beam of light.
Wow.
Science is sweet! Just think.
There's a theory doctors discuss these days that states we're currently at the peak of human health evolution and that it all goes downhill from here. With fast food, limited activity, and increased stress, our children will live shorter, less healthy lives unless we do something drastic. But because of an Edmonton innovation, healthy change might be easier than we think.
This is the fast food generation, and to a large extent, you are what you eat. High-fat, high-sugar, and low-fiber diets are pushing us into a health crisis. Cardiovascular disease kills more Canadians than any other illness, and diabetes is becoming an epidemic. We all know things like fiber are good for us. In the right amounts, it can significantly lower our cholesterol. The problem is, we don't even come close to getting enough of it.
We're terrible at getting our fiber. It's recommended that we get 20 to 25 grams of fiber a day, and most of us are lucky if we get 10. And that's primarily because we live in a fast-paced world and we don't take time to eat properly. Hi, Albert. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Albert Wally has high cholesterol and is looking for a natural way to deal with it.
Tried numerous diets, numerous supplements, and have been relatively unsuccessful over the long term. And so looking for something that's sustainable as opposed to just the chemical drugs.
He's taking part in a clinical trial where instead of pills, Albert now gets to eat fudge bars and cookies designed to lower his cholesterol. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not, and it's all because of Alberta innovation. These foods are made with something called viscofiber. It's a natural soluble fiber concentrate developed in Edmonton that could revolutionize the food industry and save lives.
A lot of people don't understand the differences in the types of fiber and think they're getting benefit by eating certain things when they're not. There's what we call insoluble fiber, which means the fiber doesn't mix when you stir it into a glass of water. And then there's soluble fiber, which is the type that dissolves when you mix it in water. So a lot of us, for instance, we're told that we should eat brown bread. We eat whole wheat bread and think that that's marvelous, but that's insoluble fiber. But it does nothing to lower your cholesterol. You need to have soluble fiber.
Viscofiber is the most powerful concentrate of soluble fiber available, and it can be added to just about any food out there. Doctors Farrell Tamelli and Thava Vasanthan believe their invention could dramatically improve our health because it will make our food better for us.
There's a big gap in our fiber consumption, so the more fiber we can get into our various food products, I think the better off we are.
Beta-glucan is what makes soluble fiber lower our cholesterol. It binds together or gets viscous, slowing down digestion and the absorption of sugar. But it also traps and excretes bile. To make more, our body uses up cholesterol in our bloodstream.
There are two major health benefits: cholesterol reduction and also sugar regulation in your system.
Beta-glucan is found naturally in some vegetables like broccoli and in fruits that contain pectin, like apples. It is also in grains like barley and oats. To see significant health benefits, we should have about 3 grams daily.
Oatmeal, for example, you need to be consuming about 4 to 5 bowls of oatmeal every day, and I don't know how many people can actually do that. But having this kind of a concentrated ingredient, what is going to happen is that we will be able to put this concentrated beta-glucan in a variety of products so that you're not limited to eating just oatmeal.
If this beta-glucan could be incorporated into a variety of products and people were eating that along with their oats and apples and other things, then this could have a major impact, and it wouldn't need to cost them any more. It would just be a question of selecting certain food items over other choices.
Viscofiber is special because of how it's made.
It's mainly a processing technique that we found to economically and efficiently extract a particular component in grains, especially in barley and oat grains.
Others have tried to extract beta-glucan from grains, but the process is far too expensive, and it damages the molecule's structure, making it less effective.
What we are doing is we are not solubilizing beta-glucan. We are removing the starch, we are removing the protein so that what's left behind is the intact cell walls with minimal damage to beta-glucan. And it's important that we don't damage this molecule because it's a long polymer chain which gives its viscosity or the thickening properties.
We have concentrated to a higher extent, so you can easily, and it's in a cost-efficient way, the food industries can afford it, so that it can be conveniently incorporated into a number of products. You can name it. You can go from noodles to pastas to nutritional bars and drinks and yogurts. we are working on all these areas in order to understand the technical problems.
They're even working with ice cream. Imagine if you could eat this and help lower your cholesterol. The possible health benefits for society are mind-boggling.
If you can shift the average cholesterol down by 10%, you can all of a sudden drop the number of heart attacks that are occurring by 20 to 30%. I mean, that's huge. That saves a lot of dollars.
Savina Bioproducts is the university spin-off company that markets viscofiber. Several major food companies already plan to use the powder in their products, and Savina is building a large processing plant right here in Alberta.
The ingredient market for that alone is around 500 million US worldwide, and as we build our own plant and get this product into the mass food markets, the potential is much greater even.
Alberta produces more barley than the entire United States, so with the supply already here, this research just makes sense.
The components of barley are greater than the whole, but you have to break it apart in order to take advantage of it. The whole idea of fractionation and applying those technologies to the crops that we grow in this province is vitally important to the future well-being of agriculture in Alberta.
Government is committed to the future of this research with the creation of more facilities like the new Agri-Food Discovery Place.
Government, private, and the university sector came together very well to deliver this technology into a commercial world.
For consumers, products with viscofiber will hit the shelves this fall to help us all take a step toward better health.
Working on it for 13 years and being able to walk through the supermarket shelves and knowing that our product is in these specific products and we made it happen, it's really exciting.
Still to come on Alberta Innovation, flexible concrete that's 10 times stronger with no metal reinforcement. Plus, breakthrough technology that will save the environment and make your electrical meter run backwards.
The pistons go up and down with explosions under them, and that turns the axle.
Wow!
I want to be a biochemist to make the world a better place.
Just think.
A lot of imagination goes into the construction of the buildings we see around us, but we're always limited by the materials we're using. However, Alberta Innovation is now opening up a whole new world of possibilities.
At the Shaughnessy LRT station in Calgary, these commuters go about their daily business not realizing the incredible innovation right above their heads. They know these canopies protect them from rain and snow, but they're unlike any other structure ever built. They're made of a revolutionary new material called ductile.
It's a very creative and different structure, and when you look at that, you would think it's a thin, curved steel plate. In actual fact, it's a concrete product.
It is actually a totally new world of concrete, new generation.
The important thing about it is that it's only 3/4 of an inch thick, and it spans 5.1 meters across the platform and 6 meters wide, and that's one canopy.
This is the world's first use of ductile technology in a thin-shelled structure, and according to everyone involved in the project, this is the future.
Well, ductile is a new ultra-high performance fiber reinforced cement composite, which really means that it's a new innovative material in the concrete type of concrete that provides ultra-high performing properties in terms of strength, durability, longevity.
Concrete has never been used like this before because it just wasn't possible. Here at the Lafarge precast plant, they use a lot of standard concrete with metal rebar supports inside. It provides strength, but it also rusts over time, and corrosion is a massive problem in the industry. Lafarge did extensive research, and in 2001, they introduced ductile to the North American market, concrete that can bend without breaking.
Normal concrete, when you load it in bending, it fails brittly, meaning it's a sudden failure. So what we normally do is we put reinforcing bars in the concrete to give it ductility. But with ductile, we don't need those reinforcing bars, and we're able to load a beam, and it will deflect and bend excessively before it cracks.
Ductile is flexible, stronger, and more durable than standard concrete.
A regular concrete has a compressive strength of, say, 3,000 psi. Ductile has a compressive strength of 30,000, so it's 10 times stronger in compression compared to regular concrete. If we talk about flexural strength, regular concrete is about 1,000 psi, and this material is about 5 to 7,000, so we're talking 5 to 7 times stronger in bending or flexure. That means that in order to carry the same load, we can use significantly less materials. If we talk about durability, what we typically do is we run tests on concrete to understand how it withstands freezing and thawing, for example. If we run the same test on ductile, we find it an order of magnitude or 10 times better. In the case of an earthquake, when the movement occurs due to the shaking of the earth, you want to absorb that energy in the structure without causing cracking and catastrophic failure. So in those type of cases, ductile would be a very suitable material.
Ductile is made with extremely fine particles in its concrete base. Then a super plasticizer is added. But the secret is in the fibers that get mixed in. Organic fibers for most structures, metal fibers for things like bridges that carry extremely heavy loads. It's a recipe for innovation.
And you end up with a matrix that's very fluid. It flows very easily into the mold, replicates the texture of the mold, and gives you a high-quality finished material.
With this unique material, we can actually produce the roof slab that is only 20 millimeters thick, would sustain all the loads of snow, the wind, even earthquake, but also it is a sustainable material. We only use this little of this material. When it comes to sustainability and building a sustainable future, we are all winners.
For us designers in using this material, it's very exciting because the possibilities are limitless. We can shape this material any which way we want, and we can clad buildings, and we can use it in many different ways. So it's very exciting and challenging.
Ductile is 10 times as expensive as regular concrete, but with 10 times the strength and 10 times the durability, it's sustainable.
At this point, we consider this structure and investment a very worthy investment in the future.
Ductile can be seen in Calgary as bridge anchor supports, as indestructible furniture at the university, and it's being used around the world in bridges and buildings. The Shaughnessy LRT project has captured the attention of the industry, winning major awards with Alberta innovation leading the way.
On the LRT project, we had an owner, we had an architect, an engineer, a general contractor, a precaster, material technology developer, all have to come together and all have to be prepared to understand the problems associated with innovating a new technology. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to push the envelope and create something that's new, different, and better.
Coming up on Alberta Innovation, saving lives around the globe with technology that cleans even the dirtiest water. Plus, a robotic David Beckham? Well, not exactly, but these soccer-playing robots could dramatically change our world.
I'm a mechanical engineer and I work with a world-class team in bone and joint health. We return people to a great quality of life.
I will be an astronaut. I love science. Just think.
Here in Alberta, we're lucky to have an abundance of clean water. In developing countries, they may not have that luxury, and often the very thing that's needed for life is contaminated and makes people sick. But Alberta Innovation is now saving lives around the world, making clean, safe water possible for those who need it.
It may not look like it, but these people are getting hands-on training on how to save lives. They're learning how to take Alberta Innovation to the poorest regions on Earth, where a lack of clean water is killing people.
The root of the problem is that water is actually very essential for survival. People need it to drink, to have every day. But water is becoming more and more contaminated as populations increase. More than 4,400 children die every day from waterborne disease.
Camille Dow-Baker used to work as an engineer doing oil sands research. Now she's the president of the Centre for Affordable Water and Sanitation Technology. This Calgary-based group travels the globe, trying to help people help themselves with Alberta technology.
Our vision, what we're trying to achieve, is a world where people have the opportunity to succeed because their basic water and sanitation needs have been met.
The centre attracts people from around the world who take part in their educational workshops. These sessions are for anyone who wants to make a real difference. People like Tex from Uganda or Reverend Raphael from Malawi.
Yeah, it is one of the basic needs of a local person because water is life. That's what we believe. We say water is life because it is used every day by every person.
They just accept this as life. They accept the disease as life. They accept malaria as life. They just accept these things because there's nothing else there for them. When you come along with clean water, you give them a chance to get out. You break that cycle of disease.
And when you're sick, you can't go to school. When you're sick, you can't work. And so it contributes to that poverty cycle, and you can't seem to get out of it. Water is a very mobile resource. It's a shared resource. And the principal contaminant is species. And so the solutions are very difficult because it means that the solutions need to be widespread. You need to address all the people, and you need to address them at the individual level.
The biosand filter is the core technology behind this organization, and the goal is to teach as many people as possible how to make and use the filters.
The biosand filter is actually made out of locally constructed materials, and so it's things that they can find locally, and that's what we teach. Is really our teacher training programs are designed so that these things are built consistently in country after country and village after village with the same kinds of effectiveness in every village.
It's a slow sand filter system that has been miniaturized and perfected to work all by itself. It cleans debris and dangerous pathogens out of the dirtiest water.
But it is actually a very unique piece of water treatment technology.
Dr. David Manns invented the biosand filter. As a water specialist who worked overseas, he saw the problem firsthand and set out to find a solution.
And then I knew about slow sand filtration, of course, through my traditional training of engineering occupation. I just decided I was going to take an inventor approach, and that's what I did. And I just used my own resources, essentially, to develop the technology, little bit by little bit. Okay, you don't have to spend a lot. And do it scientifically. And it always came out roses. I was very, 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 very excited because I knew in my heart of hearts that this was a very important technology, right from the get-go.
The biosand filter works naturally, with no chemical additives, and you never have to change the sand. It's all about creating the right climate for nature to take its course.
In the natural environment, these organisms stay away from each other. When we pour the water into the biosand filter, all of these organisms are captured right at the very surface of the sand, the top surface of the sand, or within a millimeter or so of the top. And so all the organisms, in effect, suddenly find themselves in the same room, and they consume each other. They literally kill each other. And the other interesting part is that as they do that, and their, let's call their body parts, as it were, are created, they coat the sand particles. So as the sand particles get coated, they have become even better at capturing these organisms at the very top.
And so the biology actually is like a bioremediation process, a natural bioremediation process where the good bugs in the water eat the bad bugs in the water. And you get 99% removal, thereabouts, of the pathogens, which are the disease-causing microorganisms in the water.
The biosand filter projects are now all over the world, helping to solve water problems in places like Haiti, Africa, and Latin, Central, and South America. Larger commercial projects are also in use overseas and in Canada. As many as 200,000 filters are being used worldwide.
You know, people come to you and they say, well, they're buying less medicine for their children now. They don't have to spend as much money on fetching water, they have more time. I mean, the whole community actually improves, and you can see it. It's an uplift to the entire community. We've impacted over 500,000 people, and that's huge for a 4-year-old organization. Not only that, we have more than 100 clients in different countries, working in 36 different countries, and those clients are now working with 300-400 organizations at the community level to actually get things going.
It's very significant. First of all, I view it as very significant. That is not lost on me. However, there are billions of people out there who could benefit from this, and so the objective is to disseminate the technology.
Armed with knowledge of how to build and use these filters and how to collect, store, and disinfect water, these workshop participants will return home with the greatest gift possible.
Well, we've been learning hands-on how to do the filters, how to do it, so that when we go over there, we not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk with the people that are going to be using the filter, building the filter, putting it in practice.
Well, I'm excited. That's the word. I'm very excited to have to take this back home and teach people.
I don't get a paycheck, I volunteer. And so I do this for a number of reasons, because I want to see the world a better place to live in, a peaceful, more equitable place, because I can, I'm financially able to, but professionally capable of doing it. I think we're doing the right thing, and I think we're doing it in the right way.
Still to come on Alberta Innovation, intelligent robots that actually learn from experience, and breakthrough technology that could eliminate your electrical bill and have the power company pay you instead.
We believe in innovation. We've got new ideas. We're building partnerships. We create opportunities. Innovation today means opportunities for tomorrow. To find out more, visit our website at www.wd.gc.ca. A message from the Government of Canada.
Here in Alberta, we get more sunshine than anywhere else in Canada, even more than some parts of California. Some Calgary innovators say we should be doing more to harness that kind of energy and protect our environment, and they've got just the thing to do that.
Alberta is known for its abundant natural resources. Oil and gas have brought us wealth, but alternative energy sources are an important part of our future. Already we see wind turbines, fuel cells, heat and power systems, and solar panels being used in some limited areas. But Alberta innovators want to bring alternative power systems into the mainstream.
The renewable energy industry, these alternative energy industries, are going to be big. And we have an opportunity in Canada to be part of that process. But we have to make a choice. We either can buy them, which is what we do with wind turbines right now. We bring them in from Germany, or we can make them and sell them to the rest of the world. I think we should be making it.
Here at the Calgary offices of Sustainable Energy Technologies, they've created something that eliminates the main flaw in most alternative systems, the issue of low-quality power.
They produce power that you can't use. It's direct current, it's not good quality power, and if you need to connect it to the grid or to something that needs high quality power, you need a device like ours.
These solar panels on the roof of their building are taking energy from the sun and pumping that power directly into the grid. The only way that's possible is with an inverter that concentrates and bumps up the power level so it's compatible with the rest of the system.
Our inverter basically turns this solar panel into a power plant.
Having your very own power plant on top of your roof is an appealing thought. Imagine receiving a check each month as you watch your electrical meter run backwards.
Everybody's familiar with solar panels. They've been around for years. The change that's happening now is the ability to sell surplus power back to the grid. And we've developed the inverter, which is the gateway to the grid for that. It provides all of the safety and power quality functions the utilities require and allows you to either run your meter backward or have a separate meter and get paid, get a check from the utility.
The inverter they've created is unique because it changes the quality of the power in one single step using less equipment. That makes it more reliable, more effective, and less expensive.
Our system it's much more reliable, much more robust. It gets efficiencies, that is the ability to take the one kind of power and convert it into the other kind of power and not lose too much energy. We have the highest efficiencies in the marketplace.
Using what's called pulsed step technology, it's the world's first universal inverter.
It actually came out of the Department of Defense Star Wars program, and they were going to use it to fire the space-based laser, but that never came to fruition, so we found a little more benign use for it.
Now, the whole trick to it is controlling the switching here, and that's where our pulse step technology comes in. We were looking at the scope before. You could see the steps. Each step corresponds to one of these transformers, and then we're modulating each step to get the high quality output AC current. And all that's done by this DSP controller here. So the utility sees our inverter and they don't care what's behind it. Is it solar power? Is it wind power? Is it fuel cells? They don't have to worry about that. they see our inverter, and we're using the exact same hardware to connect all these different technologies to the grid.
Distributed power generation, or generating power close to where you use it, is the future. With multiple power sources working together, you avoid catastrophic failures. Plus, it's economical, reliable, and helps the environment.
This is small. This is going to a direction which has smaller systems as opposed to bigger systems. And I think smaller systems are better.
You see all these buildings downtown, especially with the glass facades. There's a ton of real estate there that could have solar panels instead of marble on the side. And now that whole building is generating all the power it needs, offsetting all its power consumption, so we don't need to put in new distribution lines, we don't need to build new coal plants up north, we don't need to build the transmission lines from the coal plants to Calgary. It's just a whole shift in the way that we generate and use power.
This Alberta innovation is already making its mark around the world.
We have technology running in Germany, in Belgium, in Italy, in Japan, in the United States, in Toronto, right here in Calgary, and we're planning our big market for solar power is going to be Spain. That's where we're going to sell most of our inverters over the next year. We think Alberta is probably one of the best jurisdictions in Canada to be able to do this. So a lot of new buildings going up around town. Let's start integrating some power generation into those buildings.
I'd like to see Alberta be an example to the rest of Canada, to be an example to the rest of North America. We have the ability to do it, we have the money, wealth to do it, and we should lead the way. But in building the technologies that allow other people to use that sun and contribute more to the solutions of climate change.
I think the future's pretty bright.
Coming up on Alberta Innovation, how smart robots that work together and learn from experience could dramatically change our world.
Alberta Innovation and Science is a proud sponsor of Alberta Innovation 2005. The discoveries you are hearing about during this documentary will benefit people on a global scale. Research leaders around the world are gravitating toward Alberta because of our solid research and technology foundation. Best of all, students are well positioned here to pursue their dreams in the thrilling world of science and technology. Innovation secures a prosperous future for all Albertans.
We've always been intrigued by robots. In Hollywood movies, they're usually dangerous. In reality, they're toys or tools. But now Alberta Innovation is creating robots that are truly independent thinking machines.
This is Dr. Michael Bowling's favorite way to get around campus. This 29-year-old assistant professor isn't just playing around, though. This is actually one of his research tools. The Segway Transporter is a cool gadget, but Bowling prefers the robotic version. He likes machines that are smart.
Robotics gets me excited because it's very visual. It's not that I solve a problem and it's just solved on paper. It's that if I solve the problem, I get to visually see it actually carried out. And so that's very common in most of my research, whether it be robotics or the computer games research that I do. Again, it's very visual. If it works, you get to see it. If it doesn't work, you're going to see it not working.
The typical robots we're familiar with aren't really smart, but Dr. Bowling plans to change that. Robots like the Mars Explorer are controlled by humans and computers. Robots that assemble cars just follow pre-programmed instructions. Dr. Bowling is developing robots that can adapt, interact, and actually learn from experience.
It has to be able to sense the world around it, make decisions about what to do, and then be able to carry out some action on the world around it. And the factory robot doesn't sense anything, nor does it make any decisions. It's following a totally pre-programmed sequence of actions. And if you were to take the car away, it would still try to put the door on thin air and mount it anyway.
But can artificially intelligent machines actually learn?
Yes, machines can learn. Machine learning, in fact, is one of the biggest success stories in artificial intelligence. In the last 10 years, major strides have occurred that have allowed computers to do amazing things. Every time you do a credit card purchase, for example, there are machine learning algorithms that track your purchases, see if it's consistent with your previous spending habits, and if it's not, sound a security alert.
One application area of machine learning is robotics, and the reason that machine learning applies there is because making a robot do a sequence of actions that achieves a particular goal is a tricky thing to do. Robots have complicated physics and motion models.
Robots like this Aibo dog are learning, one step at a time. With its camera, it senses how fast it's moving, and as it tries various walks, it will analyze the information and actually improve.
And so what you're seeing there was it was experimenting. We had set it up where it had a little bit of knowledge about what walks fast and what doesn't, had some previous experience. So often what it was choosing was a reasonably fast, sort of quick trot. But some of the walks it chose were just really bad because it hadn't learned that that was a bad walk. So once it got that information, it incorporates it and comes up with a new proposal of what it should do next.
The goal is to make these dogs play soccer with coordinated team behavior. First, they need to learn walks, kicks, and other maneuvers.
Now the problem is, how do we coordinate a team of 5 robots to score a goal on the other player's team? Or how do we adapt the team as we're watching the opponent we're playing against? They use different strategies. We don't know what to expect from them. As we start watching them play, we might be able to change how we play in order to score better on them or prevent them from scoring on us.
When people play soccer, a lot is going on. Strategy, communication, sensing, and adapting to other players' moves. But if you can create a robotic David Beckham, you can make robots do just about anything.
Michael Bowling is a world-class researcher in developing the intelligence to make robots perform in the real world. But he does something a little bit different than most other researchers. Many people look at making a robot do a single task intelligently. Michael looks at taking a bunch of robots and getting them to work together to solve a task.
Scientists test their research at the annual Robo Cup, an international robotics competition. Bowling led the winning team in 1998. He now wants to create robots that can play all on their own. He's already proven that robots can learn from each other. Here, one robot is trying to get to the circle, the other is trying to stop it.
If humans thought about this for a while, if you actually got humans to play this game, they do something fairly natural, which is they develop, they'll basically start faking out the other player. So if this robot, if you were trying to stop me, then I might sort of fake going this direction so that I can turn around and go this direction, and then you'd be out of position and I'd be able to get around. So my question was, that seems sort of natural. Could a robot actually learn that behavior? And it turns out through the results of these experiments that they can, and that the robots, when both of them were learning at the same time, the robot that was trying to get somewhere would learn these fairly intricate, actually fairly random behaviors.
Bowling is also teaching robots how to adapt to our world, so eventually they can interact with humans.
The Segway Human Transporter is Dr. Bowling's latest tool that's allowing him to take his robots out of the lab and test them in an unpredictable environment.
The Segway HT scooter has existed for 4 or 5 years now, and they've now recently released a robotic version. And the nice thing about it is they're very similar platforms. They have the same maneuverability and top speed, which means that we can have humans and robots actually performing tasks together where they're on a very similar platform with a very similar range of mobility. And so we can explore issues of how we can get robots to coordinate better with humans or even learn to coordinate with humans to achieve their tasks better.
This is the prototype for the future of robot soccer. It can map its surroundings with GPS and move in the real world. Perfecting the human-robot connection could have incredible implications. Intelligent teams of robots could dramatically change our world.
Look what's happening with Katrina. Imagine if we'd been able to send in 1,000 robots and they were able to coordinate, doing the searches in New Orleans, knowing where to search and who had covered some area, what to look for, etc. would be absolutely amazing. These are the kind of technologies that Michael Bowling's research will eventually lead to.
But what if robots become too smart?
In Hollywood, when robots break, they always take over the world. In actuality, when robots break, they run into walls. They don't get smarter, they get dumber. And so I think Hollywood paints a bad picture of what it means for robots to go wrong. When our robots go wrong, they don't take on minds of their own and decide to do new things. They tend not to be able to even do the things that they know how to do.
We have one of the country's largest research teams in AI and machine learning, and the future with Michael Bowling looks very bright.
Not only is he young, he's so multi-talented in a number of areas, in machine learning, robotics, game theory, and in every one of these areas he's made world-class contributions. Given how young he is, where is he going to go? The sky is the limit. This is the kind of technology that is not in the marketplace today, but will be 5 years, 10 years maximum down the road. And I expect Michael Bowling to be the kind of person who, from his track record, takes this technology all the way through to completion and will have a real impact on Albertans' lives down the road. Investing in knowledge is a proven formula in Alberta.
Young people interested in careers in science can remain here and follow their dreams. Our most valuable resource is our people, and inspiring the next generation is critical for our continued success.
These scientists know that this is a place where they can start their research, finish it, have it supported, see it move through the innovation cycle into reality and actual application in society. This is what drives our best scientists.
I think that Albertans can realize the pipeline analogy, that if you don't feed the front end of the pipeline, very little comes out the back end. And it's the same with science and technology. We must continue to invest government, industry, and private dollars in the front of the pipeline to produce the product, the science, the technology inventions that make our lives that much healthier and fulfilled.
Well, I'm excited about the future of Alberta because of the people we have, the can-do attitude of Alberta, and obviously the resources we have that allows us to do things that nearly every other jurisdiction might not have the opportunity to do.
If we can help young people to understand that through the application of science, through the application of technology, they in fact can make the world a better place for their neighbors, for other countries, for other people. I think that's ultimately probably the biggest reward you'll get out of life.
We've built a strong foundation for future achievement, and while our natural resources have fueled much of our initial success, innovation is what will sustain it. If you'd like to learn more about our innovators, visit this website and see just how much we have to be proud of. Thanks for joining us.